In the vast, unforgiving emptiness of the North African desert, history holds secrets buried deeper than any sand dune. This is the story of a mission so audacious, so perilous, it was erased from the pages of World War II. This is the untold story of Operation Salam. The year is 1942. The desert war rages. Rommel's Africa Corps pushes relentlessly towards Egypt, threatening the Suez Canal, the lifeline of the British Empire. In the shadows, a desperate plan is forged. A small, elite unit of allied operatives must do the impossible. Cross 2,000 miles of access-held desert. A sea of sand patrolled by the Luftwaffe and hostile patrols. Their objective, to infiltrate enemy territory, establish contact with resistance cells, and sow chaos from within. They were a band of brothers, French, British, and local experts handpicked for their resilience and courage. They called themselves the Desert Ghosts. Their leader, a brilliant Hungarian explorer named László Almásy, knew the desert like no one else. His pre-war expeditions had mapped the hidden oases and ancient caravan routes that would now serve as their clandestine highway. But this was no scientific journey. This was a descent into hell. Almásy himself noted in his journal, "The desert does not forgive. Every drop of water is a treasure, every shadow a potential enemy. Our lives depend not on firepower, but on our wits and our silence." They set out from the contested Free French territory of Chad, their heavily modified Ford trucks laden with fuel, water, and explosives. The convoy was a ghost in the shimmering heat haze. Every sunrise brought the blistering sun, temperatures soaring to unbearable heights. Water was rationed with painstaking precision. A single leak, a single miscalculation, could mean a slow, agonizing death for them all. The psychological toll was immense. One soldier wrote, "The silence out here is deafening. It fills your head, makes you question your own sanity. You see things in the distance, mirages that promise water, but deliver only despair. We rely on each other. A look, a shared sip of water, a quiet word of encouragement. It is all we have." Navigating this wasteland required immense skill. They traveled mostly at night, using the stars to guide their way, just as ancient traders had for centuries. During the day, they would find cover, camouflaging their vehicles against rocky outcrops, praying that the glint of sun on metal would betray them to the German reconnaissance planes that buzzed overhead like angry hornets. The tension was constant. A young British radio operator recalled, "Every time we heard an engine, our hearts would stop. The sound would get louder, pass over, and then fade away. Only then could you feel your blood start to flow again." Every day was a roll of the dice. Their primary mission was intelligence. Deep behind enemy lines, they set up clandestine listening posts, their radio crackling to life only in short, coded bursts. They intercepted German communications, charted troop movements, and identified fuel and supply dumps. This information, relayed back to Allied command, was pure gold. It allowed the Royal Air Force to strike with pinpoint accuracy, crippling Rommel's supply lines and starving his panzers of the fuel they so desperately needed. The Desert Ghosts were invisible, but their impact was devastating. But they were not just spies. They were saboteurs. Under the cover of darkness, they would creep towards heavily guarded airfields and depots. Using time-delayed explosives, they would rig fuel dumps to go up in flames, crippling enemy infrastructure without firing a single shot. One operative described a mission. The target was a fuel cache. "We crawled for an hour on our bellies, the sand scraping our skin raw. We could hear the guards talking, laughing. We planted the charges, set the timers, and slipped away like phantoms. Miles away, we stopped and watched the horizon, a flash. Then a brilliant orange flower bloomed in the night sky. We didn't cheer, we just nodded, got back in our trucks, and drove on. There was always another target. Their greatest challenge came when they reached the Yolo oasis, deep in Italian-controlled Libya. It was a critical access hub. They needed to pass through undetected, disguised as a German patrol, flying the swastika and wearing captured uniforms. They drove straight towards the Italian checkpoint. It was a gamble of breathtaking audacity. Almásy, fluent in German, played the role of a confident officer. He bluffed his way through, claiming they were on a special reconnaissance mission for Rommel himself. The Italian guards, intimidated and unsuspecting, waved them through. They had walked into the lion's den and emerged unscathed. But their luck was running out. After months in the desert, their supplies were dwindling, their vehicles battered, and the men were pushed to the brink of exhaustion. The Germans, now aware of a mysterious force operating in their rear, intensified their patrols. The net was closing. Operation Salam had achieved its primary objectives, but the final, most dangerous part of the mission remained: getting out alive. The journey back was a desperate race against time, hunted and exposed. They pushed their battered trucks and their own bodies to the limit. They were forced to abandon vehicles, cannibalizing them for parts and fuel. The vast desert that had been their shield now became their prison. Yet, through sheer grit and unwavering brotherhood, they navigated the final treacherous miles, finally crossing back into Allied territory. They were gaunt, bearded, burned by the sun. But they were alive. They had done the impossible. Operation Salam was a masterpiece of covert warfare, a testament to human endurance and ingenuity. Yet, for decades, the story of these men remained classified. Their sacrifices known only to a select few. They were the desert ghosts, phantoms of the war who left no trace but the wreckage of their enemies' ambitions. They asked for no medals, no recognition. Their reward was the knowledge that they had played a crucial, hidden part in turning the tide of the desert war. If this hidden story moved you, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More forgotten heroes are waiting to be remembered.